Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? My name is Attorney Charles Zavala here from Zavala Texas Law, your immigration lawyer. And today I have a video regarding obtaining your green card through marriage, because there's two ways you can do it. There's one if you're inside the USA and there's one if you're outside the USA. So feel free to watch this video, subscribe, check it out, and hopefully we'll answer any immigration questions that you have now or in the future. So a question I get asked a lot, or kind of common knowledge in immigration, is this: if you are a US citizen or a legal permanent resident, aka you have a green card, and you are married to a spouse, or if you have children, there are certain family members that you can bring to the USA. So the question is, how do you bring them to the USA? And the truth is, there's two ways we can do it. The first way to bring someone to the USA, and in this example we'll do a spouse, right, is if they are here in the country, USA, legally on a visa, or if they entered legally on a visa and have just overstayed, it is possible for them to do what's called adjustment of status. And that means that they can get their whole green card, work permit, everything, the whole petition, the whole process they can do from within the USA. That's the fastest way, but not everyone qualifies. You have to have had entered the country legally, and overstayed, or be in the country legally with a visa. Some visas there's exceptions to, but that's kind of the general rule. The other option is this. Let's pretend your spouse is living in another country and they do not have a visa to come to the USA. No problem. There is still a way for them to get their green card. And that is something that we call consular processing. Don't really have to worry about the name. But long story short is what it is we have to go through some steps, and then we'll have to schedule you an interview at the US consulate in the home country. Okay, so those are the two ways of doing it. One, green card within the USA, that's called adjustment of status. Two is if you're outside the USA, you have to do what's called consular processing. Okay, boom. So now let's say once we decide which of those we're gonna do, well, what is the process? How does one start? How do you get the ball moving, etc., etc.? So anytime you're going to apply for a green card through marriage, the first thing you have to do is you have to establish to the USCIS, that's the US government that handles US government agency that handles immigration. You're going to have to prove to them that you are a married couple, right? And the way you can do that, various ways. You can show a marriage certificate. If you have children together, you can show that you live together, bank accounts, health insurance, photos, family, declarations. There's lots of ways you can do it, but it is on you to prove that it is a real relationship. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of fraud that goes on with immigration. So USCIS, they want to make sure that this is not fraud. So step one is always we have to apply for what's called the petition for alien relative. You don't really need to worry about the name. It's called an I-130 petition. You don't really need to remember that's called an I-130. It's just called a petition, right? That is step one. Once that gets approved, that is essentially the USA government saying, okay, we acknowledge your marriage, you can now proceed. So now that they say you can now proceed, that's where we jump back to that first conversation we had, where are we doing it inside the USA or are we doing it outside of the USA? If your partner is outside the USA, most likely we're going to do consular processing. If your partner is inside the USA and they entered legally or overstayed, we could do it all inside the United States, okay? So that's the main distinction. What do you have to do when you apply for your green card, right? It's a common question I get. Sometimes people will call me and say, what application do I have to submit? Well, it's not just one application. When you are applying for your green card, it's going to be a lot of applications. You're applying for the I-130, you're applying for the I-485, you're applying for the I-765, you're applying for the I-131, you're applying for the I-864, you are submitting I-639, which is the medical exam. There's multiple different forms you have to submit. So one thing you have to be careful is it's not just one form and you submit it and you're done. Because I've had lots of clients who call me and they say, hey, I submitted my application for a green card, but my work permit has arrived. Well, I'll ask them, did you also apply for a work permit? And they say, oh, no, I thought it was included. No. It's not. There's different forms for different things. If you need help with this, feel free to give us a call. We're more than happy to help. But let's assume that you fill out all the forms correctly. Right now, the question I get asked a lot is, what is the processing time for a green card right now? And this is going to be a little bit of a varying question because the time always changes based on how many applications USCIS is currently processing. So I don't have a magic number for you, but USCIS has a website, and if you go to Google, you can type USCIS processing times, and you can find the exact form you submitted, the center it went to or the office it went to process it, and it'll tell you how long it's taking for them to process. It's not a perfect science, but it kind of gives you a gist of the idea. But right now, if we are applying for your green card within the United States, the fastest we've had one approved has been, I think, 4 to 5 months. I'm not saying all of them are like that. I used to tell my clients you're looking at about 8 to 12 months. But right now, if you are married to your spouse and applying, we're most likely getting approvals within a year. The fastest has been 5 months. So I'm not going to say that's going to happen with everybody, but you kind of get the gist. If you are applying from outside the USA and you're doing consular processing, that's going to be a little different. Since we have to schedule you an interview at the consulate of that country, it's going to depend on their availability. So there are some countries like Mexico who has multiple consulates throughout the whole country, but for these marriage-based consulates or marriage-based green cards, they only have one consulate that handles them, and that's in Ciudad Juarez. So the problem is that it's really backlogged. I think right now they're not getting appointments for over a year. So I'm not saying every country's like this. It's going to be specific to your country, and we could always go online and find it out. But either way, if you are not within the USA and you do not have a visa, your only possible way of getting a green card through marriage is going to be doing what's called consular processing. So it's something we have to do no matter what. Okay, but if you find yourself or a friend or a family or anyone in a similar situation, feel free to give us a call. Every single appointment is going to be with me personally, Charles Zavala, over the phone. It's going to be with no other lawyers. There's some people who have been trying to impersonate us. I apologize for that, everybody. But if you call, you will schedule an appointment, but the phone call itself, when it's time, will be with me. Okay, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you guys have and hopefully get us all to the finish line. Because here at Zavala Texas Law, we can help you with any sort of immigration matter, whether it's obtaining your green card, whether it's getting citizenship, DACA, work visas, travel visas. We're kind of a full-stop shop for immigration. So if there's anything you need, no matter what state you're in, feel free to give us a call. We have excellent reviews on Google. You can check us out, Zavala Texas Law. And like I said, we have a personal touch because I am the lead lawyer here, and I do personally manage every single case. We have a great team here, but yes, I am the one who's looking at every single case, so you don't ever have to worry if, is this lawyer actually even know who I am? Yeah, I do, because we will talk on the phone, and then it'll always be via me, okay? But other than that, I hope you all have a beautiful, blessed day. It's October 2023 now. It's starting to get a little chilly, which is fantastic, but I hope you all have a great rest of 2023. If there's ever anything y'all need, feel free to give me a call. You can go to our website, Beware of Imposters. Thank you all. Have a beautiful day.